What's up, guys? Robbie here, back at it again. I took a little break, but I feel like now is a pretty good time to get back into this crypto space and start talking to you guys about what could be going on in the near future. Talking about the upward targets and downward targets of Bitcoin. If you guys watched my last video, we really dived into that and we kind of saw this push up that happened into this 50K area already happening. If you haven't watched that video, come and go check it out. It's still on my channel, and just see how these predictions can actually play out. But I'm going to give you the upside and the downside today, so if you guys want to stay tuned for that, then yeah. All right, so let's get back into it. All right, so if we look at Bitcoin, let's zoom out here. Let's zoom out to the weekly time frame so we can kind of see what's been going on since the beginning. We have Bitcoin, and we had this huge run up over here 2017 and the crash, bouncing a little bit, and then we finally broke out. What this made is this a simple triangle pattern, and this finally broke out to the upside. Okay, so the target of this triangle pattern was only supposed to be to this red line right here, which was called an extended Fibonacci, was only supposed to be around $27,000. As we can see now, Bitcoin's currently at $49,000 on the Bitfinex exchange, but it actually went into the $60,000 price point, so we're way past target here. So let's zoom in and see what's happening now, because obviously that target isn't going to hold and Bitcoin's doing its own thing. This could be because of institutional money. This can be because your average Joe starting to invest in Bitcoin, making it a stronger currency in general. But let's take a look at the technicals. So technically, Bitcoin has been bouncing in between these Fibonacci levels here. You can see it's been going in between these ones. A little bit of resistance here, support there, resistance here, support here, and support here. But there was a pattern that was just made, which can be a very extensive factor in Bitcoin's life here. As we can see, I have a couple of lines drawn out here in teal, and this is what I believe to be a rising wedge pattern. What is a rising wedge pattern, you may ask? Well, our friends at Investopedia over here will let us know. Is basically where you have inclining support and inclining resistance that meet at an edge. And if we look back over here, we had this inclining support with this inclining resistance that kind of met right here. It consolidated, it condensed, right? And we see that we did have a breakout, and we did see volume on this breakout to indicate that a lot of people felt the same way about the currency at the exact same time here. So we did have a lot of selling, which ended up breaking down through this wedge. And it also broke through this first Fibonacci level. It's now bouncing at the second one. So what does this mean? Well, currently, we can pull a target from this. So let's pull a target. Basically going to be from the beginning of this wedge. It's going to be the opening of the beginning of this wedge. We're going to take this line, put it where it broke out. So our target is supposed to be that $37,000, $38,000 range here, which honestly would not surprise me, because see all this price action we had here on the way up. We had price action in that $30,000 area. We also had a lot of selling here too. If you look at this volume, we have not had selling volume in Bitcoin, as big as that since. So the $30,000 area was a very deciding factor to Bitcoin itself, because previously, as we talked about before, that target was around that area from the other triangle, the bigger one, that was from 2017 onward. So if this were to play out, this is the downside scenario. This rising wedge did in fact break to the bottom. Did it have insane selling volume? Not so much. But did it have enough selling volume to make the currency go lower? Yes, it did. I mean, I believe on some exchanges, Bitcoin went from, 62, 63, 64,000 all the way down to 45,000. And this is in a pretty short amount of time. And you got to take in consideration Bitcoin is highly volatile, but we might go lower here. And if we do go lower, the target from our rising wedge up here, the target from the rising wedge is at that $38,000 level, but as we can see, we have no support here. We can see that in this whole pattern there was no support there, and we can see that the only support that was found was on this blue Fibonacci level, which was exactly at 30,000, which is a psychological number. You know, these psychological numbers a lot of time, 50,000, 60,000, 40,000, 20,000, like we've seen in the past, 3,000. A lot of these, just solid numbers, they act as what's called psychological resistance and psychological support, and basically it just plays with the human mind. Okay, Bitcoin is traded by humans. Humans are trading this currency. 30,000 was that factor before that created that support, and I believe 30,000 will create that support again on the way down if Bitcoin stays to go down here. If you ask for my personal opinion on this, I believe Bitcoin is going to take a dive lower here. It's a little too early to say. I'm not going to take sides on it. But if I were to, if I were going to put my marbles in a basket, I would say that Bitcoin's going to go down to 30,000 here pretty soon. Another video will obviously be coming out next week here, so about, really explaining what could happen to the downside. Maybe we'll get a move to the downside then, or maybe we'll get a move to the upside. So let's talk about that. So this rising wedge. So let's say this was a rising wedge, right? It's to the downside. Well, let's take away these lines and say, hey, Robbie, these are nothing. I don't know what you're seeing here, but I'm not seeing no lines, whatever you're talking about, all this mumbo jumbo. All I'm seeing is a consolidation zone going sideways. And, some people can argue this and be like, you know what, Robbie? Nah, this is a consolidation zone going sideways. We're just taking a little break here before the next leg up, bulls all the way. So let's say I'm with you. Let's look at the technicals on this area. If we look at the technicals, we can see that we saw a lot of support around that $43,000 to $46,000 range. We are hitting that $46,000 range support now, which is a good indicator for the upside here. If we hold at that $46,000 range, or that that $43,000 to $46,000 range, it really gives us hope here to the upside, because it shows that we are holding support at those higher levels. We're not holding at 30 no more. We're holding in the 40s, which is good for the bullish case. So if we look at the bullish case here, we're going to be holding down at this level. I would imagine we would touch this level one more time, this lime green line. So we would be going down here to about the $43,000 level, and maybe that would give us a reaction to pump up to the top side. I mean, this support is very strong. As we can see here on this last dive, from 58,000, it went down 58 to 42. We can see that there was a lot of selling volume, and this support still held. We have less selling volume now, so obviously it's still going to hold here, unless there is something that happens in the market to make it where it's going to just, everybody's going to dump their coin. But right now we're not talking about fundamentals. We're talking straight on the technicals here. So let's get back into it. What's the target, Robbie? Well, here's the target. So the target is basically going to be this next gap right here. So this is what's called a gap up. We'll be gapping up to about the 73 and a half, maybe $74,000 range. This is also reaching that psychological number of 75,000 bit. So this is the next level to really watch. If you're looking to the upside on Bitcoin, it's not going to shoot past this number. It's more or less going to be bouncing off this number. We're going to be seeing some corrections off this number to the top side. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very hectic trading range. If you don't want to be involved in that, then you gotta put your sell targets up there at around 72, 73. So you're just out and you're just waiting, not really having to deal with all the stress, because it's gonna be a very stressful situation up there. But yeah, so there we go, guys. We got that $75,000, $74,000 target to the top side. We're looking at about a $30,000 target to the downside. So right now, it's really hard to say right now. Bitcoin is not really being decisive, and it's actually kind of playing with us right now. We are in some type of consolidation. You can look at it at whichever way you want to look at it. This market moves up and it moves down. So yeah, guys, if you really like that video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, any comments, anything like that, just leave them down below. I'll make sure to reach back out to you. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you again next time.